I have to say, everyone was expecting a clash of titans, but actually what we got was a 90 minutes lecture on how to dominate a football match. Spain win 2-0 over France. It wasn't a lucky victory. It was really decided by fine margins. It was a statement. Spain dictated the tempo, choked the midfield, and made one of the best teams in the world look extremely ordinary. Here is how they did it. One thing was extremely notorious when you're looking at the passing network of this game. Look at the passing network of France. They were averaging passes in his own field. However, when you compare this with the previous matches of France, they were passing in the opposite field. Against Morocco, the passing network average was in Morocco's field. When you look at the Sweden game, they were also averaging passes in Sweden field. Needless to say, against Paraguay, look at this, they were averaging passes in Paraguay field, and again against Norway, the same. This was extremely notorious yesterday. And also, when you look at the final third entries by France, look at this one. They were barely empty in the middle. They were only sharp on the wings. Also, when you look at the zone 14, which is the zone that teams creates the more danger, and France getting as used to create a lot of chances in in the final third, but also in the zone 14. And with Spain, they couldn't do that. That's Spain merit rather than a France problem. When you look at the defensive block of France, they were defending on a medium defensive block. You will see this in the midfield. And when you look at the images of the game, France with a 4-2 in the middle and then the 4 on top, they were really waiting for Spain just to lose the ball and go fast on the counters. You could see that on this particular play. Spain lost possession right here. Dembélé just playing inside for Mbappé. You will see Olise, Mbappé, Barcola, and Dembélé just running to find space on the back of Spain backline. Cubarsí, Laporte behind them just to find those spaces. And that's why Spain was really trying to choke in the midfield, because one thing that France knew is that Spain was having a lot of space in this particular sector. That's when Unai Simon becomes very important for this Spain team, because Unai Simon was a goalkeeper that can really rush those long balls by France, cover these areas, and you could see that on different parts of the game. For instance, we have one play right here where Dembélé was just rushing the ball, but look at Unai Simon, he was ready just to get rid of that ball and just clear that ball. And again, Spain was really aware about that particular area. France knew it was these guys were really attacking this area, and Unai Simon was key just to get rid and clear those balls that were long balls to generate some danger. Another example, when Spain lost possession, you will see here Upamecano filtering the ball in the middle for Olise. Look at Olise making the run, looking at Mbappé, but also Barcola on the left. Again, was France recovering the ball and just counter and trying to find the spaces with Olise, with Dembélé, with Mbappé. And when you look at the top defenders of the match, you will see Pau Cubarsí being the top defender with 5 clearances, is the light blue bar, and 2 tackles. And the third position is for Laporte, again with 4 clearances and 2 interceptions. I think that was key for Spain, be a solid defensive team. And we will look at also at the top progressor. Look at Laporte, is also top on the top 10 ball progressors. He has 3 progressive carries and 7 progressive passes, but also look, Cubarsí is in the 4th position right here with 2 progressive carriers and 5 progressive passes. Look at Laporte pass map. He was really progressing in the game, making Spain progress in the game. But not only that, when you look also at the passing network, let's go back to the passing network of Spain. This triangle between Fabian, Laporte, and Rodri was really key in the game, just to find those triangles and steal the ball from France and not letting France just to have the ball and make those counters. France was not really having the ball, and that was the big problem for them because they couldn't create any danger during the game except for a few plays. And this could be really seen also when you're looking at the end pass zone. Look at the end pass zone right here. This particular area, Spain has 13, this particular square, 13% of the passes ended up there for Spain. But also, when you look at the team dominating song, look at this is where Spain dominated the field. And a few examples of that you could see when looking at the game. Look here, Fabian, Rodri, and Laporte right here. This triangle that was really repetitive during the game, and that was really key. Really key for Spain to control the ball, to keep the ball, and again to progress in the field, which is much more important. Laporte again was progressing in the game for Spain. It was really helping not only in the defensive part but also when progressing in the field. And again, look at this triangle right here. It was key for Spain. Just control the ball, and look at Mbappé running behind the ball right here, and Dembélé and all the offensive players of France just actually at the end of the game was they were just trying to run behind the ball and really disorganized, and you could see a frustration with that particular play where Mbappé hit Unai Simon. These three players, Laporte, Fabian, and Rodri, were key on the defensive actions. If we take a look at the Aymeric Laporte defensive actions, clearances in the box, but also tackles and interceptions in the midfield. But also when we look at Rodri, also a lot of defensive actions for Spain, but clearances, also interceptions, aerial wins, and also Fabian Ruiz. Look at Fabian Ruiz defensive actions in the midfield. I think that was the key for Spain, not also just controlling the ball and making the pass and those triangles that we see with the data, but also those defensive actions, clearing the ball, interceptions, tackles that were helping Spain to have a strong defense, making them easier to control the ball and control the game. We'll show you how Spain made this second goal of the game, which I think was something that Spain has been doing in the World Cup, just overloading this defensive block of the opposite team. And this is something that you will really see in these images. Look at these particular images where France is just in a low defensive block with 4 in the back, 4 in the middle. Here, Pedro Porro is receiving the ball. This is the image of the goal again. And when you look at the following image, Spain overloading this particular defensive block of the opposite team. I like to see the defensive block, particularly the squares that form the 2 or 4 lines. I think Spain, what it does very well is just overloading these squares. Look, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 players on these particular areas. This is important because what they do is, in this case, for instance, Oyarzabal is asking for the ball, but the center back, in this case, chasing him. When this center back just chase, he is leaving behind a space that can be taken for a different player just to occupy that space and just face the goalkeeper. In this particular case, what happens is that Olmo bounced the ball. Oyarzabal comes and look at for the ball, but Olmo just bounce the ball and leaves the ball in that particular space for, in this case, Pedro Porro, which make a fantastic run. I think Pedro Porro made a fantastic run, but Oyarzabal movement is brilliant just to make that particular pocket that it was taken by Pedro Porro at the end and scored a brilliant goal. And I think this has been doing by Spain, overloading the defensive block of the opposite team in several games. And those particular movements, you think those players are shadows or ghosts, they're not there. But those tiny movements make the defensive line a zigzag. This is something you don't really want on a defensive back line, because when you have a defensive back line, like looking at the zigzag, you will find those spaces, and those players will be on. They won't be offline. They will be online, and they will face the goalkeeper and eventually score a goal. Needless to say that games are decided by particular plays or details. In this case, it's important to mark that Digne made that full mistake and just giving Spain the advantage with that PK. I think that's very important, and that was really important on the game, because that helped Spain just to make his own game. France was obligated just to go for the goal that allows them to tie the game, and Spain was really controlling the ball by having the ball rather than having the need of going and chase the goal. Again, the games are decided by details, and in this case, Digne committed a very full mistake that allowed Spain to make their own game. If you like this video, hit the like button. We'll see you in the next one.